Hey, how you doing? It's Nick James here, and this is episode four episode 4 of the show with no name, which the current front runner is Seriously Fun TV. So if there's no other names thrown into the hat, then we're probably going to go with Seriously Fun TV. There was a few others that we came up with, but they haven't really received much love. That's the one that's received most love so far. So if we don't get anything better in the next week, that will be the name of the show. So there's a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about this week. The first one is something I've talked about a lot in the past, either in videos that I've made or speaking on stage, which is very simple but insanely effective. It never ceases to amaze me how effective this marketing strategy is, and it's very simply to have deadlines on your offers. So I'm sitting here today, it's the 31st of March, and we've been selling tickets, as you'll probably have seen, unless you've been living under a rock, for the last month or so. We've been selling tickets to our Bums on Seats bootcamp, which is in May. And ticket sales started off quite well, and then they slowed down, as they normally would after the initial push. But we've been building up really for a price increase, a deadline today. So we're actually shooting this video at 5:30 on Thursday, and the price increase was at 5 p.m. today. So after 5 p.m, the ticket price has gone up quite significantly, and we've been communicating this out to through our database and on Facebook and through emails and things like that. And it never ceases to amaze me that today, with this price increase this afternoon, we've sold more tickets to our Bums on Seats bootcamp than any other day of the month so far, just because we've had the deadline in place. You always get a spike of sales whenever you've got a deadline or you've got some urgency, an urgent reason why you want your prospects, your customers, to take action before a specific deadline. It's human instinct to react to and take action upon a deadline or an incentive to take action. So first piece of advice would be very simply to find a way to create some urgency in your offer, whether that's an event that you're running. If you want to get a spike in sales, have an increase in price or have additional bonuses put in if people buy by a certain deadline. I guarantee only every single time, without fail, you'll get a spike in sales. And the second thing, this afternoon I've been having some very interesting conversations with a couple of private clients that we work with. One is a lady who's been doing some speaking recently on stage at a number of different events. Another is a client of ours who's about to speak on stage at one of our events, funnily enough. And we were talking around this idea of your personality in your marketing, your persona on stage if you speak at live events. And there's a couple of questions that were asked which I found interesting. One was from a lady who's one of our clients, and she was asking about, is it appropriate or offensive or whatever to swear on stage? And I said, you know what's interesting, it's a question that I get asked quite a lot, and you'll see some speakers who are very I don't want to use the word aggressive, but they do tend to swear a lot on stage. I personally don't. If I do, it's extremely rare that I swear on stage, but there's many speakers. I was at Gary Vaynerchuk's book launch in London last week. There was quite a few swear words that coming out of his mouth on stage. That's his persona, that's his brand, if you like, is that he has that kind of loud, brash American New York thing going on, and he swears quite a lot. That's okay for him, and people don't seem to have a problem with it. But if that's not you, don't do it for the sake of it, would be my advice. Another question was, there was a joke that she said she made, and she was wondering whether it was a bit close to the mark. And I just said, look, don't make jokes that you wouldn't normally make if you were just hanging around with your friends, because that's trying to be somebody you're not on stage, or trying to be somebody you're not on camera, and that's just it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. It's gonna be obvious that you're not being authentic, you're not being your true self. So for me, I think there's a couple of key things. I was talking about with another client about this yesterday, and we were just saying that there's a few things. One is that in order to, I think, have great personality on camera or when you're speaking on stage, first of all, you need to know who you really are. That's the first thing. The second thing is you kind of need to get comfortable with who you are as well, once you know who you are. And then thirdly, you need to be okay with that. So if you're naturally charismatic, if you're great at speaking on camera, you're great at speaking on stage, you're funny. Some people are very funny naturally. Some people aren't very funny naturally. You need to know where you sit. If you're not very funny, don't try to be funny on stage because it's going to feel really awkward for the audience. If you're naturally funny, play up to that. You know, there's plenty of speakers who are very successful who are not naturally funny. We were at the Comedy Store, me and the guys went out for our kind of quarterly team night out. We went to the Glee Club in Birmingham just the other day, and we saw some great comedians. There was one or two that were. Who was the best guys? Who do you think the best? Sean Walsh. Sean Walsh, man. Sean Walsh was funny as hell, and actually, like, not one of these comedians who does like filthy jokes or anything like that. Just funny guy. If you've never seen him, check out Sean Walsh. Just YouTube him. He's been on telly quite a lot on I think E4 and Channel 4 and stuff. So you should definitely check out Sean Walsh. Hilarious guy. So I think you've got to know who you are. And you know, if you're naturally funny, if you've got a natural style, then you should play up to that. The advice that I gave to the lady I was speaking to earlier, my private client, was when you're on stage, when you're on camera, be an amplified version of yourself. Don't try and be someone you're not. And it's a mistake lots of speakers make. You know, when I think back to the beginning of my career, you know, I'd done a lot of work with Andy Harrington, who many of you will know. You know, and I'd worked for Andy for a few years, and he trained me as a speaker. And so I think, if I'm being self-critical, when I first started speaking on stage, I was like a Andy clone, you know. And I think, you know, that's sometimes not a bad thing when you're really just starting out. You need something to model, something to copy to get your confidence up. But really, I think the secret is to know who you are, get comfortable with who you are in your own skin, and then be an amplified version of that when you're on camera, when you're on stage, however it is that you're presenting your content, your value to your clients. So hopefully you've enjoyed episode 4 of the Yet to Be Named show. Working title, Seriously Fun Show, or Seriously Fun TV, isn't it?
Big Fish Show. Yeah.
The Big Fish Show is not going to get signed off. The Seriously Fun TV is the working title. So please post comments if you're watching it on Facebook. Let us know what you think. If there's any questions you've got you'd like me to answer, please post them in the comments box. Or if there's a new name that you've got for the show, we'd love to hear it. So once again, I've been Nick James. Thanks for watching. I've enjoyed making this show for you as always. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. No, what am I doing? I completely forgot our new feature, Big Fish's Meme of the Week. How could I possibly forget? So here it is, Big Fish's Meme of the Week.
Introducing Big Fish's Meme of the Week.